Harry Kane and Dejan Lovren set for another battle. England and Croatia would not have been too many people's pick to make it through to the semi-finals of the World Cup, but both nations now find themselves with a remarkable opportunity. The two European nations look closely matched on paper heading into the big game in Moscow, and it could be a clash decided by individual battles across the pitch. Which players will stand up to the pressure, and which will fold in the heat of the battle? We look at four potentially decisive head-to-head clashes that could be the defining moments in one of the biggest matches in the history of both countries. Dejan Lovren v Harry Kane. Cast your minds back to the 22nd of October 2017. The venue was Wembley, and Tottenham were playing host to Liverpool in a crunch game for both sides who had designs on competing at the top of the Premier League. What followed was a bloodbath for Liverpool and for Dejan Lovren in particular, as the Croatian endured one of his toughest days so far in a red shirt. Lovren was at fault for two of the early Tottenham goals, with Harry Kane and his friends running riot, and the Croatian had to endure the embarrassment of being hooked off after just half an hour of the 4-1 defeat. Ouch. It is to the credit of the Liverpool defender that he bounced back from that horror show, but neither Lovren or Kane will have forgotten that day, and it will be fascinating to see if history repeats itself when they clash with their national jerseys on in Moscow. If Kane can ruffle Lovren's feathers, and they are feathers easily ruffled, England will have one foot in the final. Luka Modric v Jordan Henderson. In Modric and Rakitic, Croatia have one of the best central midfield partnerships in the world, and how England deal with them could be the key component of this World Cup semi-final. Modric in particular seemed dead set on dragging his team into the last four on his own against Russia, and Jordan Henderson will surely be charged with stopping the Real Madrid playmaker. The Liverpool captain has been nothing short of sensational for England in the World Cup, but his biggest challenge is still ahead. The two players clashed in the Champions League final, with Modric and Real Madrid coming out on top, and it will be up to Henderson to bounce back and stop the Croatian maestro from orchestrating the Croatian attack. Worrying reports about the fitness of Henderson have emerged in the wake of the Sweden win, and Gareth Southgate will be keeping his fingers crossed his main man in the middle of the park will be fit and on song. If Modric is allowed to pull the strings, England could be pulled from the tournament. Your browser doesn't support HTML5 video. Can't wait to see Lovren against Kane next Wednesday. Smiley face. https://t.co/nthjani 9:51 p.m. the 7th of July 18. Ante Rebic v Ashley Young. Two unlikely heroes for their countries and two players who could play a pivotal role in Moscow. Ante Rebic was switched to the right for the game against Russia, and it paid off as the 24-year-old had a fantastic game. Powerful and direct, the Eintracht Frankfurt player was a constant thorn in the side of the Russians, and that could spell danger for Ashley Young. The Manchester United man has done a sterling job at left wing-back for England during the World Cup, with his set-piece delivery in particular proving key. Questions will always remain about him going the other way though, and Croatia could look to use Rebic to get in behind the makeshift defender in the semi-final. Modric and Rakitic are capable of hitting Rebic early to exploit the space behind Young, and how the former Villa man deals with that threat could be key in the outcome. Mandzukic v Walker. Mario Mandzukic remains hugely underrated, but he has led the Croatia line on his own in admirable fashion and remains a player with plenty of quality who works himself to a standstill. Football fans will have recognized his work rate for Juventus on the left of midfield, and he could well pull over onto Kyle Walker with that in mind. Walker remains inexperienced as a centre-back, and that could be another area that Croatia will look to exploit as they come forward against this young England team. Mandzukic is excellent in the air, but he is also technically gifted on the ball and won't back down from a challenge. The 32-year-old is not known as a prolific goal scorer these days, but he can find the net on the big occasion, meaning Walker will need to be at his best to ward off any danger from a player who might be playing in his last World Cup. Don't be surprised if the big striker tries to rough up the Man City star, and it could be an area of the pitch to focus on as the match progresses. England v Croatia match center. Follow the Sportsman for the latest football news. Register with the Sportsman to personalize your news feed with your favorite sports and football team.